YouTube, what it do is your boy Benji, and we are back balling. If you're new, please don't forget to subscribe. If you cannot tell, I am here in all seriousness because I have my glasses on. That means I'm locked in and I'm professional today. Hey, but the airwaves continue to be broken by this media scrum right now. The debacle of who is who in front of the mic and who is reporting on what, because the Kendrick Perkins, Charles Barkley, everything has spilled over and got a little more intense as the Lakers were matching up yesterday against the Knicks, and a game that was actually incredible. Went to overtime, and of course, a lot of deep threes, big time plays, defensive stops, all that culminated in the Lakers win. And Luka and LeBron James had 60 plus. Each plenty of boards and assists between the two of them. They are becoming the players that we expected them to be. But what kind of went viral overnight wasn't necessarily the play of those two guys, but an instance in which LeBron James actually walked up on a guy who was about to get paid a lot of money for talking, Stephen A. Smith. And they seemed to have a conversation, but it's later revealed that it wasn't really a conversation, but more a confrontation. So this was like at some point during the game, maybe it was halftime, maybe it was like in the middle of a timeout or like a quarter exchange. You see Morris over here ready. He's ready. That's literally all he's on the team for. Just to get down and dirty, just to rumble. LeBron James walked up on Stephen A. Smith, who was sitting courtside, and pressed him, pretty much. The internet was going off about this, and Stephen A. alluded that it was true, that he indeed did get pressed by LeBron James. Stephen A. went and talked about it this morning on First Take. He said that was LeBron James coming up to me, unexpectedly, I might add, to confront me about making sure that I mind what I say about his son. Can't repeat all the words that he said to me because they were not suited for FCC airwaves. And he made a good point. That wasn't a basketball player that was confronting him. It was a parent, a father. In the end of the day, he was sticking up for his son. I think we're just in a new age, bro, where anybody can comment on anything. And we're also at a point in time that public figures feel as if they're being slighted by people that are commenting on them. And at the end of the day, they're not willing to stand up and take it. And I think that there's two things can be true. You can definitely take two things too far, especially when you're one of the people that are at the forefront of the media, or you can formulate a bunch of narratives. Right now, I mean, with the advent of social media, you can easily just go up and tweet something about somebody with no facts, no information, no truth, no nothing about it. And people will take it as true. I mean, you got NBA Centel right now that every day, every few hours, tweets just the craziest thing ever. And people were actually running with it and putting it on ESPN, major platforms, and major shows and taking it as facts. Nick Wright, another big-time media member, mentioned the scrum in itself.
Highlights, hand to God. It was Bronny's bad minutes against the Sixers. That's true. Go look. Go watch. So, again, I don't think that's Stephen A's call, but it doesn't exactly dispel the narrative that, well, yeah, there might be a little unfairness here. And
Nick Wright is a huge LeBron supporter, and he will have no problem admitting that LeBron James is not only better than Jordan, but probably better than most human beings. But the clip that he was alluding to was actually something that was on Stephen A's show, and basically it was a low-light reel playing in the background of him talking about LeBron James and subsequently his son and whether or not he was ready for the NBA.
You see what you see. Bronny James has played in 13 NBA games. Ladies and gentlemen, he's averaging 0.3 points, 0.3 assists, and 0.4 rebounds. He shot 1 for 16 from the field in his NBA career and 0 for 7 from three-point range. And he's playing in the first quarter of an NBA game? But come on. I'm not being cruel to Bronny. I'm looking out. He can't go into the G League and average 20, 25, and stay there until he's ready? Or anybody wants to jump on me. Remember, I never saw Bronny James play until he showed up in the NBA and the G League. I refused to watch him because if I watched him, I would have to talk about him, and I didn't want to talk about LeBron James' son because I thought it was so unfair to the kid. He's such a...
Stephen A. did say a lot of good things about, of course, the family, the James family, and the Bronny as an individual and how polite and nice he is as an individual. But at the end of the day, you having this conversation about him and talking about his lowlights while he was the 55th pick in order to try and disparage LeBron James and saying, yo, you're not doing your son a service by allowing him to play in the NBA. Literally how? He's the 55th pick. If you expected him to go out there and average 20 points a game, then you are only the person that you're talking about. The reason that people are upset about LeBron James' son getting an opportunity is because they feel like it's some unearned nepotism. Essentially, it's a power play coming from LeBron James. Since I know people that know people, and because I am him, I'm going to get you an opportunity, whether you didn't deserve it or not. At the end of the day, LeBron James Jr. was a high school All-American. He played in the McDonald's All-American game. He went to a high major Division I school and got drafted. Albeit he got drafted 50th pick. But he proved himself in the combine. That's even what allowed him to get selected. He went out there and posted one of the highest vertical leaps out there. Bested most people in the shooting drills. And went out there and performed in the scrimmages. Now, was he the best player? No. That's why he got drafted 55th. But obviously, I think in many other scenarios, there's been guards that come out of college that don't average too much, and we're not too worried about what they do because of the potential that's there. 40-inch vertical. He can shoot. Man, if we can mold him correctly, he could be a guy that we could put as a defender, as this, as that. Now, yeah, have plenty of other guys had tougher paths to the NBA? Absolutely. They also were not connected to LeBron James. At the end of the day, this kid was going to have a magnifying glass placed on him, whether he averaged 20 points or averaged 2. When he went out there, and if he were to go out there and average 20 points a game, then y'all would say he's still not good enough. He should be doing that because he's LeBron James' son. It doesn't matter. Again, now he's in the G League cooking. The same people that went up there and made videos about how this kid was not ready to play professional basketball. He should have never even got a chance to play at high major college basketball. And a lot of people were thinking that he wasn't even good enough to play in college, period. There's a lot more silence. Stephen A. has gone on multiple rants on ESPN pleading and begging LeBron James to stop it and the Lakers to not continue to allow LeBron James Jr. to suit up for the main roster squad. I mean, guys play up all the time in AAU. It's sink or swim. I mean, many of these young guys are playing up in age. I mean, you got guys in the NBA that are 30-something years old. A lot of these kids coming out at 19, 20. Where has the talk been this season about the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the rest of the picks out of the lottery? Where has that talk been? We have been talking more about Bronny James Jr. than the majority of the NBA draft lottery. That's where the problem comes in. And I get it. At the end of the day, people want to hear it. But, there's an ignorance that the people have. And you're only continuing to fuel the narrative because a lot of people don't really tune into the games. They just want to see Bronny fail. So if the media is continuing to perpetuate the idea that this kid is not good enough, then at the end of the day, you're formulating a negative opinion in general about this kid that hasn't even gotten an opportunity to play yet. You're acting like this kid was literally picked up a ball yesterday, but because LeBron James' son, oh shoot, this is Make-A-Wish. We'll just give you a Make-A-Wish roster spot in the NBA. He earned it. JJ Redick's played in the NBA. He's an NBA coach. You think he wants to go get fired by putting Bronny James out there, a kid who hasn't played any NBA minutes yet, putting him out there in the first NBA game and wants him to go start and play roster minutes in front of guys that are seasoned vets? Is that what you think what he did? Now, granted, was there probably a couple moments where they were simply just trying to get their pictures off, trying to get a moment? Yes. But a lot of this conversation has been stuff that's irrelevant. I think that's what the entire disagreement has been about how the media covers games. At the end of the day, there's an audience for it. Sure, there's an audience for plenty of things. You can put a lot out there that a lot of people will eat up. But you're missing the point. End of the day, Stephen A. alluded to that LeBron James is a great dad. Bronny James will be fine. He's got a great coaching staff and a great family surrounding him. He wishes the best for Bronny James. He also did say that Bron does have plenty of people in the circle that could get him in contact with Stephen A. to sit him down and have a conversation. Bruh, not everybody wants to have that conversation. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, hey, look, I seen you in public. I felt like you were talking about me negatively in a way to try to dispel information about us in a poor light. Let me holler at you, bruh. But while I did go off on Stephen A., in some sense, is it low-hanging fruit for LeBron James to come up to Stephen A. and press him in the middle of a basketball game? When, like he said, if he does want to have a conversation, we can have that conversation. Should LeBron James seek out, I guess, acquaintance from Stephen A. Smith in order to try to have him paint the narrative in a more positive light about his family? Should LeBron seek that? Or should LeBron say, I don't care, I just want to talk to you about like this, and that's it? Or do you think LeBron James is soft? Because a lot of people, I think that LeBron James is a little soft about it. And not necessarily to like question his masculinity or any sense, but unfortunately he's in this position where you are not even just a public figure, you're a huge figure. You are the face of the NBA. People are going to be critical of things that you do on and off the court, and a lot of people are just going to find things to be upset about. They're going to project things that are on their own life and find a way to kind of illuminate that small chink in your armor is a way to try and help themselves feel better. I think LeBron James, the good thing is nowadays you have an opportunity to stand up for yourself and frame your own narrative. But I also think it's not a big deal. Like, the things that a lot of these people talk about in some sense. These guys are going to be critical of everything. And you got to own some of that blame, too, because you did put it out there about how Bronny can pass some of these better than these guys. Bronny can take some roster spots, etc. At the end of the day, he is. So you weren't wrong about that. But obviously, there's something more that LeBron James knows that we probably don't. Or there's probably information that we took from it that we don't know. Or maybe he took things differently than the rest of us would have, because at the end of the day, it's his life and his feelings. He could take it the way he wants to. Maybe Bronny feels a way that he hasn't addressed yet. Because we haven't really been able to kind of hear from Bronny about how he really feels about this. Because at the end of the day, bro, Bron haters got to be the craziest people on earth. Like, I can only imagine, bro, what it's like for having millions of people against you and wanting to see you fail. I can only imagine that. And as successful as LeBron is, there's millions of people that want him to fail. So there is no good enough. Impossible. It's unfortunate. But y'all let me know what y'all think about it. Because it does not seem like Stephen A. is done. He mentioned that he didn't want to have to address the situation, and he wouldn't have either. But it went viral, so he had no choice. So he's on First Take addressing it, and then later he'll be addressing it on YouTube. I'm leaving this tweet up here from Kevin Love because I completely agree that Stephen A. is milking this as content, and the rest of us are as well. It's a good conversation for people to have, but at the end of the day, Stephen A., bro could have said what he said to you, and you could have kept it moving and been anonymous about it, but at the end of the day, it's content to you, and it's content for the rest of us. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it in the comments below. Stay tuned to the next one.